Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I want to talk about some really cool iOS 14 features that I kind of want. There's no way these are verified yet, but some of them have been rumored, and I think it's probably going to happen more so than not. Now, one of the best features of iOS 14 would potentially, in my opinion, be the support for the same devices as iOS 13. I think if this were to happen, I think it would be life-changing, and I think it would be cool. And it's something we've seen before, but I don't think as the scale as the iOS 14 update could. And if you look at phones like the iPhone 6s, 6s Plus, and iPhone SE, a ton of people own those phones, and let alone the features that iOS 14 will bring that I'll even hit on in this video that are not verified, they're just rumors. I think it's just the support and the security support that you're going to gain from an update like this on these older phones. That's going to be a humongous asset for these phones. So if Apple is able to do that, that would be life-changing, and I think that would be really, really cool. Now, there's a lot of ways to go about it, but I think if Apple just goes to native support, push the update, and maybe if they cut off some features here and there from the smaller, older iPhones and put them for the major ones, like the iPhone 11s, 11 Pros, I think that'd still be okay. I don't think that's going to be a game-changing thing or too crazy in my opinion, but just the fact that if these phones get supported, I think that would be the biggest feature of iOS 14 and the feature that's going to affect the most amount of people in my opinion. And I might, a lot of people might not talk about it, but I think that'd definitely be one of the biggest things for sure. Now, one of the features, and I've already hit on a couple of these, but we've seen some revelations since then, a feature with an iOS 14 that a lot of people want is probably going to be the hidden Siri that a lot of people have rumored and wanted. It could potentially come, it can't, but we've already seen jailbreak tweaks that can do the same thing, and I think it would be a really, really cool thing if Apple were to do this. There's no reason Siri should take up that much room, and Siri needs to get better if they want to kind of delve into this audio market and this voice market. I mean, we look at things like Google and all those things, even like Samsung, their Bixby is pretty decent. I hate using it. I hate that Bixby button. Thank God they changed it, but the hidden Siri would definitely probably make people use it even more because they'd be able to see what they're talking about on their screen rather than having it take up the whole entire display. So that would be a really cool thing. And actually this next one has a little bit of an update. So apparently, I didn't even know about this, but that one guy who's the head of the software development at Apple, and he reads people's emails and responds back sometimes. Apparently somebody emailed him about the phone call taking up the whole entire display, and he actually responded back saying that they are not probably going to be able to put it in iOS 13, but it could come in future iOS versions. So that's probably going to happen. I can't remember if it's the phone call thing or if it's the hidden Siri thing. It's one of those two, but I think it was the phone call thing. So that's a huge change that needs to happen, and I think they will probably do it. The fact that I think it's Craig Federici, his name. The fact that he said it, it's probably going to end up happening if I'm being honest. Not everything happens, it's kind of wishful thinking sometimes. But if he acknowledges it, it's probably going to happen. I think, probably, who knows. Now, these next two things are things that I really, really want. And if Apple doesn't put it in iOS 14, I might have to carry a separate Android phone in order to do things. And that is split view, or multitasking, split screen multitasking, whatever you want to call it. We've been rumoring this thing for so many years now, and it's just kind of weird that Apple still hasn't done anything with it. We look at phones like the Android phones, a lot of them have this capability, and it's so underrated. It would be like using when you're using your computer, do you ever just have one thing open at one time? No, you have multiple things open at one time, and you usually have things overlapping with each other, things like that. Right now, I have my notes, I have my voice recorder, and I have an internet browser up. Why can't we do that same thing on our phones? Our phones are more than capable enough of handling these type of things, so it's completely crazy why Apple doesn't do it. I think they should, and they can easily. Our phones are so powerful, and if they don't do it, I think it's just going to be so weird, the fact that they don't do it, to be honest. But if they don't give us split screen multitasking, can you guys at least give us picture in picture? The iPads have had that for so long. The iPads have split view too, so it's kind of dumb. But if these phones can handle so many different tasks and so many different things, they have 4 to 6 gigabytes of RAM. The future ones will probably have 6. Why can't they just handle a simple thing of picture in picture? I've owned many iPads with 2 gigabytes of RAM that can handle picture in picture. Why can't our phones that have 4 gigabytes of RAM handle it? You know what I mean? And that are way more powerful and everything. So I think it's kind of weird that Apple still hasn't pushed that update yet. And if they are, I hope iOS 14 will be the day that they actually do it. If they do that, that would be a big enough reason for people to go and upgrade their phones to a iOS 14 compatible device. But if they just do that same old of oh, this changes Wi-Fi this and this is, it's just gonna be a boring update at the end of it. And also, like I said last time, some sort of always on display. I think that would be really cool and game changing for a majority of people. We've seen like the Apple Watch 5, I mentioned this before, that has that capability too. And I feel like Apple is getting closer and closer to doing something like this. And if they really do it, that would be really cool. And I would love Apple for doing that so much. So those are just a couple more features of what we could see on iOS 14. Again, not a game-changing thing, but if they do a couple of those things, it could be one of the better updates that we've seen in a while. I mean, iOS 12, iOS 13, even iOS 11, those updates were kind of boring and more or less the same. If you gave me an iOS 11 device and an iOS 13 device, I could probably say they're going to look almost exactly the same for the most part. We need something different, and I think if they push these kind of features in an update like this, I think it'd be really, really cool if I'm being honest. So that really pretty much covers it. If you guys have any questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit that like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it'll mean so much if you guys could hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel, all those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate it if you guys could check it out. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.